It is February.
It is February.
You know what? Do I ever say anything to start these off? Because
It is time.
It is. It is time.
It is time.
There we go. I'm tired. It's February. The month is almost over, but we could not leave you without a refried scene.
That's right.
That's right.
And oddly enough, we did not do My Bloody Valentine.
Oddly enough, or maybe that worked out in our favor. Maybe it didn't.
Well, maybe not.
Maybe not. The voice you hear is the wonderfulness of Carol Coles. How are you doing today?
I'm doing okay.
Excellent, excellent. We have our first guest.
Yeah, I know.
It's wonderful. Yes. Look at that. Our
Yeah, I wanted to do like the highest pitched little thing.
Mia, how are you doing today?
I'm wonderful, and I'm so honored to be your first guest.
Well, I'm honored to have you on as our first guest. I told Carol, I was like, we should get some guests. And she's like, who? And I was like, Mia. And that's kind of where my list stops.
First and last on the
First
list.
and last.
Nailed it.
Yeah. And when I had the idea for this show, I was like, I want Carol, and that's the whole list. So I'm in a very happy place right now. Two great ladies. If you've never listened to an episode of this show, what we do is we talk about an original film and its remake, and we try to hash out which one we like better. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, what are we doing this
So
month?
we rolled the dice and we got The Haunting.
Yeah, we did.
And when Carol said we're doing The Haunting, I'm like, okay, so which one? Or which two? I knew that it was, a original
Everyone
piece.
seems to think it's the
House on Haunted
Haunted
Hill.
Hill,
Yeah.
which is the Vincent Price.
Right.
That actually could go on the list because there is also a remake with Jeffrey Rush. But
Yeah.
no, this is not. This is The Haunting based on The Haunting of Hill House.
Wait a minute. They're not all based on the same thing?
Oh no,
But there's
This is
there's a lot of similarities.
there's a lot of similarities,
There's a lot of similarities,
but
but
the House on Haunted. What's the Vincent Price called?
The House on Haunted Hill.
Yeah, House on Haunted Hill. He's trying to kill his wife
Well,
in
as
both
you do.
of those. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
'Cause,
And it
you know,
just happens that both remakes came out the same year as well.
Yes.
And that's what screws me
And that's
over.
what and they have haunting in haunt in the
yeah,
title.
but not only that. I mean, the plot is very similar too.
Yeah,
there's a different ending.
It's
but-
a big house that supposedly has ghosts.
right,
Oh,
and you get
okay.
paranormal specialists
Yeah.
that come in there. But luckily, I live with Carol, so
So you watched the right stuff.
Yes, yes. We watched The Haunting, the 1963 version, and then The Haunting, the 1999 version.
Alrighty then.
We did not do The Haunting of Hill House, which is technically
Yeah, it was also
based
its
on the
own
same.
business.
Yeah,
We
but that is a show that's 10 hours long. I
Oh,
recommend it.
yeah, Leslie's gone through it twice now.
It's actually really good. Very loosely based on the book. The movies are far more
Stick closer to the original.
yeah.
But
yeah.
would you say, getting into the outset of this, would you say the TV show does a better job, though?
I would, yeah. I think because it has 10 hours to actually delve into it, because it tells the story of the Canes, which is the family that lived there prior to when this group of people come to
Right on.
Hill House. And it's very good. I think it has slow parts, but I think it has some of the best depiction of addiction
Ooh,
besides
okay.
BoJack Horseman.
Oh, yes.
But yeah, and the bent neck lady is one of the most terrifying hours of television I've watched.
The bent neck
Lady.
lady.
It's one of the episodes of The Haunting of Hill House, and
Okay.
it's
what year was the series on?
the series was just last year.
Yeah, last year.
Yeah, Henry
Old
Thomas
Netflix.
plays the father in that one. It's
Okay.
done by Mike Flanagan, who did Oculus
Yes.
and Doctor Sleep.
And spooky stuff.
Yeah, he's got his wheelhouse, and he's going to stick to his
Yeah.
wheelhouse. Isn't there going to be a season 2 of that one?
Yeah, it's called The Haunting of Bell Mansion, I believe.
Ooh.
It's a different house. So they're moving away from Hill House. They kind of have to. I think it
Burned down.
burned down in the end of the
I think I remember walking into the room, and I was like, all right, something's happening. And
Yeah.
I walked out.
I think it burned down at the end of
Something
the series.
final is going on.
So, but we're dealing only with the movies, which is the 1963 version
Yeah.
and then the 1999 version.
So you ready to get into this 1963?
63, yes.
Yeah. So who's directing this bit
Robert
of business?
Wise, who directed The Sound of Music, and yeah, he has.
Drastically different.
God, let me pull him up because his career was just like, whoa, what?
His career is like, y'all got a job for me? I'll do it. Yeah.
He edited Citizen Kane.
Okay.
Wow.
He
that must have
directed
taken years
West
off of
Side
his
Story.
life.
Yeah.
he directed West Side Story, The Day the Earth Stood Still, the good one.
Not the
I'm
Keanu
not
one.
putting that on the list. Sorry.
Good.
Star Trek: The Motion Picture.
That's how I know his name.
Run
Yeah.
Silent, Run Deep, which I actually also like too. The Andromeda Strain.
Oh.
He's done a lot of science fiction. Oh, he did the original. Oh, that's not Invasion of the Body Snatcher. That's just the Body Snatcher.
Yeah.
But no, he's like all over the place.
He put in some work.
Yeah, he's very varied career. But
Yeah.
So he directed this one. It stars Julie Harris and Claire Bloom. Yes.
And boy, this movie. Boy, do I have thoughts about this movie.
Yeah, I think your enjoyment of this movie is going to hinge completely on the performance of Julie Harris. I think
Is that who plays?
Eleanor.
Eleanor.
Yeah.
No.
So yeah, this tells the story of Eleanor, who is a very sheltered person. She spent the last 11 years taking care of her invalid mother.
Putting it mildly.
Yeah. Basically being abused by her invalid mother.
Yeah, that takes talent.
She is socially just inept
Yeah.
in most things. And she gets an offer to come help with a paranormal study. Now, in this one, it is very upfront. It's a paranormal study.
Yeah.
We're-
Not like the Liam
No.
Neeson version.
We're
Things-
looking for ghosts. He's actually, the professor is looking
Yeah.
for ghosts. God, the professor's name changes in both versions,
Yeah,
too. And
it's
that was
Dr. Markway in the
Yeah.
original, and then
Morrow, I think.
Morrow
Morrow.
in the
Yeah,
remake,
Right on.
which is weird because in the book it's Montague.
and that's the
They're just like
only,
fucking give him an end name.
Just give him a name. It's
That's
begins
the
with
only
M.
different character name.
Yeah,
The rest
everything
of the
else
character
is-
names
yeah.
are the same.
But she goes there, and it's her. The two people that he has going there is the two people that actually show up because he invites a bunch of people.
Yeah, because he's seen the list of them towards the beginning. He's checking off names. He got like 7, 8 names checked,
Yeah.
and like 2, 3 people show up.
Two people show up because the third one is
60s.
actually not part of his study. You have Nell, and then you have Theo, who is played by like Claire Bloom. Very, very, very city, very, very posh.
Yeah, that's one way of putting it.
She's Posh Spice.
I guess that makes Nell Scary Spice.
They also like subtly hint that she's a lesbian.
There were overtones for sure.
Yeah.
I guess I didn't pick up on that.
Yeah.
Are you
it's-
serious?
In the original? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Also, I was done with this movie 5 minutes in.
Oh.
That's just the tip of my hand. I was done with this movie early and often. I was like, oh,
If you'd have
yeah,
made it
Jesus
6
Christ.
minutes, you'd have been like, did she
Okay.
just hit on her?
She's,
Okay.
she's hitting on Nell there. So yeah, those are the two people that show up for the study. Now the fourth person who's there is Luke, who is the grandson of the person who currently owns Hill House.
Right. And he's just looking to appraise that
Yeah.
bad boy.
And that is played by Russ Tamblyn.
Yeah, that name sounds mad
So
familiar to me, too.
handsome.
He was in West Side Story.
Oh, okay.
And he played one of the Jets.
He was handsome.
Oh,
And-
now tell people where they really know him from.
Twin Peaks.
I never got down.
Yeah,
to the Twin
he's the
Peaks.
doctor in Twin Peaks.
Yeah, he should be sitting in that other chair doing this
Man, he
podcast
is.
with us.
He
You
is.
know what?
Yeah,
I was just out in L.A. too. I should have looked up. Hey, Russ, come on back to the Carolinas and
yeah.
sit down with us for an hour.
He's had an interesting career. He is in one of my favorite kaiju movies of all time. Kaiju is like the big people wearing big monster suits. It's War of the Gargantuas.
I've
And
heard of this movie.
I love this movie so much. I have a video of it, like a VHS copy somewhere. But
I think you can lay that to rest.
he looks. He is so bored through the entire proceeding. You can tell he's the one American amongst a bunch of Japanese, and he's just too damn cool for the whole movie.
Oh,
Here he's not. Actually, I kind of like him in this movie.
oh God, I did not.
Oh, I see.
I liked him.
I
Really?
liked him. In
I
this-
liked him,
yeah.
and I liked Theo. I think Markway was overacting a little bit, but I think that was the style
Yeah.
of.
Really? That's
The
the
acting at
only
the time.
character I actually liked.
Markway was Mark.
And-
I didn't mind Markway.
And Nell,
Okay.
I'm with you on that one.
So like I said, I think your enjoyment of this film is really going to hinge on Julie Harris.
Right on.
So they get to the Hill House, and Markway's looking for ghosts. Mm-hmm. He thinks the house is haunted,
Yeah.
And well, is it? That's the thing. With this one, you're never quite sure. There's loud bangs.
There's enough to make you lean towards the fact
Right.
that, yeah, there's some
There's
wonky going
harps
on
that
here.
play on their own.
Yeah.
But everything seems to center around Eleanor.
Right.
When there's banging, it's usually at the door of a room that she's in. There's writing on the walls. Welcome home, Eleanor.
Yeah.
She's targeted.
She's very she's very
That's a
targeted.
good word for it.
And you get a lot of inner monologue
Oh,
with
my
Eleanor.
God.
Yeah, to accompany that 5-hour-long voiceover at the very beginning that lays down
Lord.
Oh, okay,
That
yeah. that
voiceover.
was-
in the beginning, God created
Hill
heaven
House.
and earth, and then we get everything leading up
Can
to
we talk?
this.
Can we talk about that for a minute?
yeah.
Okay, the second wife, when they're doing this reenactment,
And she
Hugh
falls
Crane-
down the stairs.
and her, how his first wife passes, and then the second wife. Oh my gosh, she turns around to fall down the stairs, and her face is just.
She didn't have a line. She had to get the
She
most
was-
out of her performance in the 5 seconds of screen time she had.
She opened those eyes and the mouth so wide, and fell down the stairs so dramatically. It
She's
was-
like best supporting actress.
Yes.
Oh my
Without
God.
saying a word.
I howl. I cackled for 5 minutes. That right there. Instead of watching the whole movie, just watch
Just
that.
watch that on loop a couple times. You'll get way more entertainment than I got out of this movie. I'll tell you that much.
So here's the thing, because it's established, and this is the thing with this movie is it's incredibly subtle. You have to actually listen to the dialogue to pick up on things.
This is the most wordy, scary
It
movie.
is,
Oh,
yeah.
it is very wordy,
Yeah.
And
very verbose.
there's no special effects. There's one big special effect, which is the door, basically breathing, kind of.
Yeah.
But other than that, it's all off screen.
all
and
very cheaply
they
shot.
used-
Yes,
They effectively used sound effects.
yeah, and they use the atmosphere.
Camera angles and
And that it's an
anything
effective
to
use of
disorient
atmosphere.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you're never quite sure because it's implied that Nell has often had paranormal activity surrounding her.
Yes.
There's been poltergeists that follow her, and Theo is an empath. So this one, you're never quite sure whether or not there's ghosts in this house or whether everything is just emanating from Eleanor.
What
even
do you
though-
believe?
Well, I believe Eleanor is really fucked up.
Yeah, I think we can all get that.
Eleanor got issues, man.
She's got a lot of issues.
That bitch crazy.
And because she is so socially inept, she has violent mood swings.
Yeah, she
Just
flips on you quick sometimes.
Yeah.
And sometimes not unprovoked though.
Sometimes not unprovoked.
does a lot
Theo
of
likes
poking and
likes to
prodding.
poke.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I know it's difficult to stomach, but I kind of appreciate Julie Harris's performance.
Okay.
Because I do believe that is how a socially awkward person in that particular circumstance would act.
True. I can agree with that.
It's not pleasant to watch.
No, it's grating.
It's
I think
rather
is the
grating.
word that I would use there.
And you get a whole lot of inner monologue, which is
Yeah.
basically her falling in love with the house. But even then, she has violent mood swings where she thinks the house is horrible and she thinks the house is, her home. So she can't even tell whether she wants to be there or not.
I was on the couch wondering if I wanted to be here or not.
There's some tense moments, like when there's banging on the door and she's telling Theo, because her and Theo tend to sleep in the same room, and she's like, Theo, you're grabbing my hand way too tight. And then Theo's like, what the fuck?
Theo's reading a magazine.
I'm
like,
over
what?
here. Who's grabbing my hand? So there's some effective scares, I think, for 1963 and for what they were trying to accomplish, because I don't think they wanted to do a big special effecty type movie.
Yeah, I appreciate that they didn't do that. That
Right.
they relied heavily on the
On just kind of
the
atmosphere.
sound effects and things like
Yeah.
that. But as I was watching it, I hated the voiceover so much. So I was trying to think, well, how would I handle this to get around the voiceover? And I unfortunately think that it's
It's
got to
the
be
only-
there.
It's gotta be there.
It's got to be there.
Yeah.
I did appreciate later in the movie they try to make it where you're really invested that Nell's more and more mentally disturbed,
Right.
you know.
And she latches
And
onto
so-
Markway very quickly.
Very
He's a
quickly.
smooth-ass
Yeah.
dude,
But
that's
as
all.
the
He
movie
is.
goes on, there's more instances where somebody is talking to her, especially Theo.
Yeah.
And Theo says something to her. There's no response from Eleanor. She's doing a
in her
voiceover
shit.
thing. She's daydreaming
she's
or whatever.
completely out of her head.
And Theo's like, Jesus Christ, now snap out of it. You know, I
Yeah.
appreciate that much more than her in a corner or
Yeah.
in a car and just
Monologuing to herself.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah,
So-
they were dreaming of Marco's mustache the whole time. Yeah.
So the whole plot, the haunting comes to a head when Markway's wife shows up. Oh darn, he's married.
I didn't notice he doesn't wear a ring.
He does not.
Yeah.
And he deliberately does not bring his wife. He says when he's talking to the owner of Hill House, he tells her, "No, my wife will not be there," because they think it's a little odd that it's going to be him and some ladies,
Right, yeah.
which is why Luke is told. Yeah, that's why Luke. She says, "Well, Luke will be there." So,
Yeah.
Like Russ Tamlin's going to keep the proceedings sober.
He's gonna keep it clean.
He's just going to empty the wine stores.
Yes. This comes to a head where Markway's wife shows up, and then she, who is very she's definitely the Scully
Not
of
about
this
to-
marriage.
Shout out to Lois Maxwell. Man.
Yeah, yes.
Moneypenny.
Moneypenny shows up
Yeah, I was like, Moneypenny don't play around.
on vacation from Bond.
Yeah, Moneypenny was also fine back in the day.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was beautiful.
Yeah.
Absolutely gorgeous.
She disappears inside the house.
Yes, so this is yet again, I think this is the second time it's happening where my voodoo fucked me.
Oh no.
And just stopped playing. And then when I went back to it, they're like, nope, you're done. Like I tried to pick up from there. So it was shortly after she disappears.
Okay.
Is where, I mean, I'd already mentally checked out.
Yeah.
But at this time, this is where voodoo's like, sir, you're obviously
You're
not
not
about
watching this. You're not enjoying it. We're just going to stop it right
Is your
here.
How
voodoo
did you
in
know?
tune with your brainwaves
I
at
guess
this
so.
point?
Is it
It's like-
VUDU or VOODO? Which
Who knew? Who knew?
so Mrs. Markway disappears.
Yeah.
And they start to look for her, but then the haunting becomes like really violent, and that's when the door starts basically breathing.
But we get the door breathing earlier than that, though.
We
Because
get-
the first time the sound effects happen, it's Nell and,
This is
and
yeah.
Theo that's
With that, it's mostly camera angles and their
Yeah.
slight bowing. This is like really extreme.
And is it a different door?
It's a
I
different door
remember-
because
okay,
they're
yeah,
all
I
in the
thought so.
parlor at that point, except
Yeah.
for
the room
Mrs.
that they
Markway.
wouldn't go in.
And Luke, Russ Tamblyn, has a great line here because that door bows in and he immediately looks at the doctor and goes, "Doc, I'll let you have the house real cheap."
Yeah. You know what? That's the last line.
Yeah,
Before my
that's-
shit cut out. Yeah. Yeah.
And they go to, at that point, Eleanor becomes almost completely possessed by the house.
Ooh.
And she's like dancing through the hallways
This is not the time for dancing in the hallways.
and saying, "She's home, she's home, she's home." And she goes to the rickety circular staircase where the former companion of the old lady Crane had hung herself.
Hung herself. That's where Luke almost got
Yeah,
clapped up
because
earlier.
it's coming away from the wall.
Yeah.
And she climbs that, and Markway goes up after her. And at the very top, Mrs. Markway is trapped in the attic because the house has basically just kind of kidnapped her.
Okay.
There's no even hint that something like this might be occurring. This
Right.
is like a jump scare.
It's a jump scare.
Because you're not looking at the ceiling. You don't see any opening that could occur. You're just
And
like,
she just
something
kind-
tense is going to happen.
Yeah. And she just kind
And
of
then-
pops out.
Yeah. And she's
Oh.
disheveled.
Yeah,
and
she's obviously
got
not having a
dirt.
good time.
Yeah, no.
Now do you believe me?
That was not Miss Moneypenny.
But the thing is, the only person who sees her is Nell.
All right.
So Markway
That's
at that
right.
point.
It cuts, like this whole scene cuts. And then
Yeah, and Markway's like,
they're
I
in
did
another
not see
room.
her. Yeah, because they're at that point. Markway's like, you're getting out of here. I'm going to have Luke take you away.
Right on.
Because you're just not. This isn't healthy for you anymore.
Oh, then that's when they were sorry, huh? It wasn't about 15 minutes after she arrived.
If only they could have heard the monologues.
So they put her into a car, and they're about to drive away, and Luke goes, "Oh wait, Doc, the keys," and gets out of the car, and Nell takes off with the car, and at that point, she starts to lose control of the car, and you don't know whether it's an unseen force taking a hold of the car or the fact that she just takes her hands off the steering wheel, because she does.
Well,
and
she's shouting though.
She's
don't
shouting,
do that.
"Don't do that,"
Whatever.
because it's one of those things where I'm not leaving. I'm going to stay at Hill House, and then oh
Yeah.
my God, don't do that. And she crashes into a tree and dies.
But she sees.
She sees Mrs. Markway run out because the house has released Mrs. Markway.
Okay.
Because it's about to take Nell.
So a
the
spirit
assumption.
for a spirit.
Yes,
I guess
basically.
is what they're going for. here.
But yeah, she dies in the car wreck, and they're all just like, "Well, she's dead now." Markway's
So,
like, "Well."
Waffle House, or what are we doing after this?
And Luke says, or no, Theo says, "Well, she got her wish. She gets to stay at Hill House." Well, I don't think they're going to bury her there.
Even Theo with the snidest of remarks at the very end.
Yeah, and that's basically the end.
Hmm.
Is she dies, and she gets to stay at Hill House.
Oh,
Yeah, and they stay there till morning.
Yeah,
When the what's her name, the guard of the house, the keeper of the house.
Oh God, what was their names? The Dudleys.
The Dudleys.
The Dudleys.
Yeah.
Yes.
So Mrs. Dudley arrives.
Mrs. Dudley arrives and finally unlocks the gate because they still can't.
Can't get out.
Freaking
Well, what
gate.
are you gonna do? I guess.
So
Yeah, there's not a single
That must have
character.
been a tense night. Can you imagine?
Or some of the best rest they got. Like, well, shit's all over now.
yeah. Oh,
Let's go ahead and tuck it up.
and that freaking Nell is dead. Let's go.
No shrill screaming all over the place.
We won't have to guess her mood. And then she, of course, immediately starts to haunt them.
Oh, you know that's what happened. That's
Oh
exactly
yeah,
what
she
happened.
needed that attention bad.
So there are things about this movie that I appreciate. I appreciate its subtle use of sound effects and lighting and cinematography. It's black and white,
Right on.
so you get a lot of nice shadows. Again, it really rides on whether or not you can handle Julie Harris.
I agree, and I couldn't, and not the actress, but just the way they wrote that character.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
just,
I think
it's
that's
very
more-
shrill
Yeah.
and just always on the frayed nerves. Which I understand having people like that, but after a while, it's gonna fray my nerves.
It starts to grate. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but I think that's what they were aiming for.
To grate on the
To
viewers.
grate on you. Yeah.
Yeah, I still think there's a way to do that without the
Without
film
completely
feeling like
make-
it's twice
like,
as
oh
long
my
as
God.
it is.
Yeah. So that is the 1963 version.
Yeah.
So
Didn't
they
like
take
Theo
this-
at all either in that.
You see, I
thought
did
she
like
was just
Claire
so backhandedly mean the whole time to poor Nell.
I think that she was using her empath skills to get a rise out of Nell
Yeah,
and that's-
when needed.
when needed.
Because there were times she was very caring and nurturing to her.
And
nurturing
there
to
were
her.
times when she deliberately would get. I think she recognized the fact that Nell was in love with Markway and that was going to go nowhere because she knew
yes.
Markway was married.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she would poke at that because it needed to go. It needed to actually be
Put that
addressed.
at bay.
Yeah.
And Luke was just so one note the entire time. I guess he was supposed to be the comic relief, but I didn't find him funny.
Just kind
At
of
all.
liked.
I liked him.
Yeah. Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's rare because Russ Tamblyn I do find I don't find him one note in Twin Peaks. He's really insane in Twin Peaks. I highly recommend that performance
All righty then.
with his golden shovels.
I guess I liked the straight character that he was there.
Yeah.
He had no.
There was no
Skin in the
paranormal.
game.
Yeah,
No
he
skin in
was
the
just
game,
looking
yeah.
to assess the house because he wanted to sell it.
Yeah. Yeah, and I
Because
just
these were not the type of people he wanted to.
He's the character that you're most going to identify with
Right.
when you're watching the film.
as is the regular person who
Yeah.
has no other vested interests.
Right.
Yeah.
And you're just there. You're like, geez, give me a drink. These people are too much.
Which brings us to the 1999 version,
That it does. Oh boy.
directed by Jean de Bont,
Yeah,
Who
on
did
the bond.
Speed and Twister.
So he's done a couple good movies. This ain't one.
This
of
ain't
them.
one of them. Oh, God. Oh. So you take one of the most subtle haunted house movies and you just throw a bunch of really crappy 1999 CGI on
so
it.
1999.
Oh, God, it was
It was
bad.
that was the year I graduated high school, so I remember like everything that year. And yeah,
These are not the
They-
dinosaurs from Jurassic Park.
No.
They,
Yeah, how do we go from 94?
I don't know.
And still what holds up very well.
Yeah.
To 99.
And this just looked like crap.
oh, it looked terrible.
Yeah. It
So
took me a minute to realize that Liam Neeson did 2 shitty movies in 99.
what was the other one?
Episode 1
Oh,
came out
God,
in 99.
that's right. Another
Yeah.
crap CGI crap fest.
You're not wrong.
So Liam Neeson plays Dr. Morrow, who is a shithead.
Well, just lay it on out there, Carol.
who wants to investigate this house for hauntings and have a bunch of people who are paranormally inclined. Say that 3 times fast. But he masks it as a sleep study.
Well, why? I'm not sure.
I don't know.
Just come right out with it. I'm pretty sure someone's going to.
And what's really stupid is like, it's a sleep study. So come to this big spooky house and sleep in beds with spikes over your head.
Right?
And really horrible
in a
cherubs
place
everywhere.
You're uncomfortable with. You're
Yeah.
not going to get any damn.
It's like, happy dreams.
Yeah.
And there's no like if you're going to a sleep study, you're
They're
going to
gonna
expect to have
monitor.
monitors on your body.
That's a good point. I didn't think about that.
No,
Yeah.
just fill out these tests.
the piece of paper that I handed.
Here, work this maze. That'll tell me if you're sleeping.
Oh, that is right. I totally forgot. There's that montage of
Them
Nell
work-
taking
Nell taking the
the
test.
psychiatry test. Yeah.
Yeah, so we have, it's the same character names. You have Nell, Theo, and Luke.
Right.
Nell is played by Lily Taylor.
Love her.
She is very subtle here until she's not.
Yeah, I think she plays. Well, they write the character a little bit different.
Yeah, they
in
write the
this
character,
joint,
and
so.
she's still, very isolated socially, and her mother has just died, and her mother was incredibly abusive.
Yeah,
But
so,
she's got the wherewithal to know, hey, this is going to be hard for me. I don't have a place to go. I don't.
Yeah,
yeah, she was
She's
already
got the
thinking forward.
wherewithal, you
Yeah.
know, and she's looking in the classifieds.
yeah. And I will say, in the first movie, Julie Harris's character is sleeping on her sister's couch. She doesn't have a whole lot of.
Her own space.
She doesn't have her own space, and she does not. She's not going to function well
Who's
in
that
society.
in the remix? Is that her sister?
That's her
and
sister
her
and her
brother-in-law?
asshole brother-in-law.
Yeah.
Yeah, and their whack
And their
ass kid.
horrible child.
Horrible child.
Richie.
And so her sister wants her to move in and take care of Richie. So
It had only been a matter of time for Nell slapped the shit out of that kid.
That's right,
anyway.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That was,
sorry, he
48
must have
hours.
fallen out of a window.
that was just gonna happen. Yeah.
Took my eye off him for 5 seconds.
Yeah, these things happen. Ugh, sorry, you can make one more of those.
He took a
can't
bath with the toaster. I don't know what to tell you.
He wasn't smart.
you? I warned him once.
But instead, she gets a phone call that tells her to look in the classifieds at this sleep study that's going to pay you $900 a week and let you sleep in a mansion.
I have questions. So we find out at the end of this movie that it is not
Liam Neeson.
Qui-Gon
Yeah.
that gives her the call.
Qui-Gon.
So who's picking up the falling down these numbers?
I'm
then?
assuming it's one of the kid ghosts. It's like, hey, Eleanor, Eleanor, look in the paper.
Look at that paper. Also, this is kind of a collect call because I don't have the money for it. Like how?
I don't know how
Yeah.
I dialed this number without fingers, but
I guess it's supposed to be the creepy element. Of
Maybe
this
it's
film.
Mrs. Dudley. Maybe she had a little thinking in the game.
That's what it was. Miss Dudley. Yeah.
I'm tired of hearing these kids scream. I'm going to get
Bets
somebody
on
to
who was going to survive. That's her and Bruce Dern came back to collect their winnings.
It's like, okay, it's just you two.
All right. Yeah, $60. Bruce Dern's like, damn it, you
Oh,
got
man.
me.
I loved seeing Bruce Dern, too. I
Yeah.
was like, yes.
It's the youngest I've ever seen Bruce Dern. I mean, he was born like 40 years old. Him
It's
and Sam
like
Elliott.
Max von
Yeah,
Sydow was born 45 too.
Oh, another one.
Yeah.
So it's Eleanor. Theo is played by Catherine Zeta-Jones. And there's no subtlety to her performance in the slightest.
No, there is not. This is early Catherine Zeta-Jones.
Yes.
I have preferred many other Catherine Zeta-Jones roles to this one. She didn't look like she was putting in a whole lot of
No,
work
nobody
or
here
time.
really is giving it their all.
No, definitely not Liam Neeson.
I did like the one homage where they're walking through the house and she just immediately goes into dancing like
Yeah.
Nell in the first one.
In the first one.
Yeah.
That scene where
Yeah.
Nell goes crazy at the end. Catherine Zeta-Jones does the same
Does the same
twirl.
twirls in the hallway.
All right.
I
And
thought
there's
that
the
was
nice reference of the lions on the mantelpiece. There's lions on the mantelpiece here, and in the first movie,
Yeah, the stone lions.
the stone lions. In Nell's head, she has an apartment, and there are stone
Yeah, with the
lions.
stone
on the
lions,
mantel-
yeah.
So there's nice subtle nods to the first one, and then that's the only subtle things in this fucking movie.
Yeah, they're very worth. I feel like the original one is trying to go for more of a thriller, more of
Yeah.
a psychological type deal. This is just
This
we're gonna
is
put
just-
it right
yeah,
there.
we're just gonna throw it out there.
Fucking faces.
So your fourth person is Luke, played by Owen Wilson, which just it's like no, that's not Luke, that's Owen.
Yeah, I thought about that too.
screwing
You
me
couldn't
up.
get the right Luke. It was like Wilson for this.
It's like Luke, no, it's Owen.
Also, his
Was
first
Luke Owen not available?
his first sentence.
Wilson.
Luke Wilson. His first sentence gives us two classic Owen Wilson wows, though.
Yes,
I did throw that in there. So.
Yeah.
Wow.
And he's not a straight man here. He is apparently part of the study.
Yes.
Also, just being the difference that the first one was in black and white and this was in color, just the color palette that they had him in was primary colors every fucking time.
Yeah, I
Like,
noticed
come
that.
on, man.
But there was one of those
This
shirts.
is-
I was like, that
we're
shirt's
talking
kinda
about
dope.
a 35-year-old man.
Dressed
here.
like it's Easter around here.
Well, that's okay.
He's not
'cause
wearing a yellow T-shirt.
That's okay,
Or an
'cause-
orange T-shirt.
Theo brought her
on,
bondage
man.
gear to the freaking sleep study.
Right? We got chokers and we got all sorts of stuff. I'm like, what are you sleeping in?
No wonder you can't sleep. Why in the corset?
Well, somebody else thought that Theo had some lesbian overtones.
She openly
So they
says
wrote
it. I
this-
have a boyfriend and a girlfriend.
Yeah.
Because I am spelling out for you that I am bisexual. And,
Do you like girls?
Oh man.
so those are your three characters, and then you have Liam Neeson, and then you have the caretakers Dudley, Bruce Dern
Yeah.
at his craziest. Is he? Well, it's Bruce Dern.
What isn't he at his craziest?
Typical Bruce Dern.
Typical Bruce Dern. And his
The way we
wi-
love him.
and his wife. And I have to say, Mrs. Dudley in both films, they treat her kind of as comic relief because she gives the
Little
same
bit.
speech to
Yeah.
everybody. We don't stay here after dark. It's a long way to town. Nobody comes here after dark. And in both movies, it's basically the same speech.
Yeah, we get the fuck out while they're getting out. It's good.
Yeah.
I don't think it has shit to do with being a long way. They're like, we know what the hell happens when that sun goes down. We're not going to be a part of that shit.
Right.
No.
So the first thing you notice.
And I ain't cleaning up after you fuckers.
right.
I'm putting the breakfast table out on the buffet. You're going to feed
You can
yourself.
figure it out from there.
And the first thing you notice about this film is one, the house is freaking massively, obnoxiously huge.
Right.
And has rooms that make absolutely no sense at all.
But at least they give a tour.
They
at
give a
this
tour, but then
movie. I enjoyed that. That's maybe
my
one of the
only-
only things. Maybe.
my only thought is, why are these rooms open? Nobody is living in this house.
Mm-hmm.
Why is the carousel room that goes around in a circle? First off, what is that? And second, why is it still working?
Yeah. I had
And
a couple of those same questions as
the
well.
library hallway with the
With the water
with the books that are.
and the book.
That's
steps-
kind of dope, though.
It was
It's totally
cool,
dope,
But
totally
it's-
cool.
It's like, look, this is cool.
Not
Why is it
functional.
here? Don't know.
Not functional at all.
But
I happened to look up from contemplating which wrist I was going to slice first, and I saw that hallway come through, and I was like, "Oh, this is actually kind of. Let's see if this is going to come back and do something now."
there's like
No. Nope, not at all.
no. Neither does the circular room that goes around in a circle. It
No.
doesn't really do anything.
And no.
Yeah, this is more like Wonka's Emporium than anything
Yeah.
else.
That's true.
There's like
They
a
really could have done something with that.
yeah.
Should have.
There's a greenhouse with this huge statue in the water pond that looks like it's drowning. And I'm like, why
Yeah.
would you put that there?
I love, greenhouses, water gardens. I love that kind of stuff. And I was like, oh, come on.
It's just like this
That
massive,
statue is
grotesque
clearly coming to
statue
life
hanging out of the.
later.
And that's where the circular staircase
The
is,
circular
because that
stairs,
does
yeah.
show up again.
Which was pretty.
Yeah, I mean, But so this is a sleep study, or at least that's what he's telling them.
Yeah.
Although he's just trying to monitor their reaction to
Fear.
stress or fear.
Yeah, he wants to see
Yeah,
how they react to fear so we can study fear, I guess, in
Right.
order to figure out how to better, more effectively combat
Right.
fear. It's his long game that he takes the worst possible path to
Right.
get to.
And he has 2 assistants that come in with him that are immediately gotten rid of because
Yeah. What was it, the piano wire?
piano wire,
Yeah.
yes. His assistant Mary plucks piano wires and one of them breaks and smacks her in the face.
Yeah, and then it took her whole eyeball out there.
It, yeah. So the other assistant has to take her to the hospital
The other assistant who's there
It's like-
solely to get her out.
to get her out. And I'm like, my first thought was, well, wait, did the Dudleys leave? How'd they get out?
That's a good point. Because if the Dudleys left and they locked up after themselves, how did they get
How'd
out?
they get out?
You see,
you
Liam Neeson and Luke shutting the gate when they
So I
leave.
guess they, but if they had keys, why didn't they?
But doesn't later in the movie Liam Neeson does say, "Oh, I do have the key
Okay.
to the
No.
to the gate," doesn't he?
Oh, he doesn't have a key.
Because I thought
forget
they
because
try
because
and
that's why Owen Wilson has to
tries
try to ram it.
Ram it.
But he does say that though, doesn't he?
See, I thought at one point he had a key too, but then when Owen Wilson was trying to ram the gate, I was like, well, obviously
where's
I
the
was
key?
wrong about something.
And that's where I was like, well, how did that other people? I would have loved
I
it if they
don't
went if they're leaving and then Mary and the assistant are just still sitting.
Still standing by
we
the
can't
gate.
get out.
He's been here for 3 nights. Why did you just come back in the house, you idiots?
Oh man, that must be a plot hole.
Yeah,
I mean, there
One
there
of
was
many.
some laziness going on there. I
Yes, from the
caught
writing to the directing to the acting.
I caught Catherine Zeta-Jones calling Luke Theo.
at least once.
No,
Yeah.
At
really?
least
Yeah,
once.
we backed it up.
we backed it up. It's like, she just call him Theo.
I know. That's your character, honey.
So you have these them there, and Nell is of course starting to hear children, and her bed is covered with these hideous little cherub statues and spikes
So many children's faces.
just everywhere.
I do, like, one thing I did dig was like when they occasionally cut back to them, there was the different
And
facial
the-
expressions.
yeah.
And I was like, well, at least they tried that.
They tried.
Yeah. As like second year film school student would have thought of it.
Yeah, it's right.
Yeah.
It's cool for a minute.
Yeah.
Not for a 2-hour movie.
And there
or
gets to
very
a point
emulation.
where you're like, what was wrong with just one child's face? Why did they go with dozens?
300.
The whole
Easily.
thing
in
doesn't
the
make.
in the damn bedroom.
But the whole thing doesn't make sense because the builder of this house
There's so much exposition on
hates
the,
children
on the,
because the whole
Yeah.
point is
the
that
whole
he
ghost
has
story.
he has a factory where children work and he kills these children and it's the ghosts of these children that are inhabiting Hill House.
Yeah, but why is he killing the kids?
But you never explain why he's killing the kids. And also, he built this huge house so him and his wife could have just multitude of children. But
you
he
had
hates
kids.
children.
He would have just killed all those kids too.
And why would you put faces of children all over your house if you hate children? Nothing.
Maybe he just hated those children.
particular children. You're slow workers.
Did he?
The same dude who
I
wrote
was
this
kind of-
Rogue's Perdition, though. It's such a good movie.
Chelsea,
Yeah, but that one had a good source material.
That's true. True.
I was kind of taking it that he was running this mill house, and he would take a kid, like basically abduct a kid, for his wife to raise, and then something would happen where the kid would die.
But then
over and over and over.
Okay,
again.
obviously she's not a
11
good
years,
mom.
12 years. Yeah, there's
But
that.
the thing is, she ran away.
And she's like, I'm tired of killing kids. I'm out. I'm out of the game.
This whole
Out of the kid killing
because they rewrite it in the first film. It's not the builder of the house that is horrible. The house itself there's something wrong with the house
Right,
itself.
yeah. The builder of the house is just the shitty
Just-
architect.
Yeah, and the house hurt him as much because it killed his wife. It killed his second wife.
on,
You know, eventually it killed him. Here, this guy is like horrible monster and he killed children and he put their bones in the fireplace, this monstrously huge fireplace.
Yeah, like, look, man, if you're gonna go rich with a house, you gotta have that big ass fireplace.
And apparently no windows because the freaking curtains are blowing all the fucking times.
If I saw one more
Curtain
linen
billowing. I'm like,
Yeah.
billowing with a fucking CGI
With a face in there
child.
somewhere. Yeah.
just
Oh,
over and over and
I roll.
over.
And don't wait, when you got tired of that, they did give you also a glass pane that did the same
Yeah,
thing
they
as
did the
well.
same
so they
thing.
switched
So-
it up on you.
So the whole thing is that
The Hugh
his
Crane face. Oh,
yeah, his wife that ran away was Nell's great grandmother,
All right.
and that the house called her back because
But
it's
that doesn't
family.
even make
And that
sense.
doesn't even make sense.
because her
doesn't make any
lineage
fucking
dies
sense.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Nell, even in the story, Nell made that up.
You really think so?
Yeah,
I
because
yeah,
that was part of her being crazy.
yeah. I just Lily Taylor plays Nell so. She's very Lily Taylor.
Yeah.
She does whole thing.
So I just don't buy her as being. She looks like she can actually function in society,
Yeah, I can't agree with that.
and here she is saying, "No, I'm going to stay in this house and take care of these ghost children for some bizarre fucking reason."
Bizarre.
And of course, because it's 1999 and it's a horror movie, we have to kill a couple people.
Yeah, I
Oh boy.
wasn't a big fan of that.
Oh my goodness.
So
Now you have to say where you laughed in this one because I got my
Owen
laugh out in the
Wilson's
first one.
death is just hilarious.
Well, that one, if they hadn't set it up previously,
Yeah.
then I would have laughed more. But you know, when that thing
When
first
that thing
comes
first,
out,
and you see the huge mouth, you're like, yeah, someone's going to get decapitated.
yeah, I thought it was at least a good idea because Liam Neeson can just step out of the way, but as he's stepping, he also pushes Owen Wilson because he just had no
Yeah.
wherewithal. And because Liam Neeson wasn't close enough, or Owen Wilson wasn't paying enough attention the second time, there was nobody there to push him that time, and then
And he just stands there while the thing just clocks his head
head
off
locked right off.
and just spits his head. I'm not sure
Couldn't
how
believe
to
it.
that.
I couldn't believe it. I was
It
like,
was just
wow, they really just went for the full decapitation,
Yeah,
not
they
just
did.
knocking
Not
his ass
bludgeon
out.
him, no.
No. Went
And-
for the whole boop,
and it was
Ken doll
just
head
silly.
rolling in the fireplace.
He was the second person to die, right? Who?
No, actually, I think he was the first.
He's-
He was
First.
the first because
Oh, he's the
the
only, I guess,
assistant,
right?
well,
the
now
assistant in the
Oh, no, yeah.
in
the
the
assistant
beginning
actually just
left
she lives.
because of the injury, so
Yeah,
it wasn't
that's
a
right.
death.
I'm trying to see what this was rated.
I was wondering that. I couldn't remember because this and like we said, House on Haunted Hill, same year. One is R, one is PG-13. I can't remember.
Yeah, and I'm
which
pretty
is
sure this one
which.
is
This
PG-13. The decapitation is very bloodless.
clean. Yeah.
It's a very clean, well, this giant flu. If you've never seen the movie, it's this huge lion's head that's probably about 2.5 feet in diameter.
Mm-hmm.
That's the flue of the fireplace. So the fireplace, you can stand in the fireplace because apparently he burned the children or something. I don't
Well,
know.
you
Their
gotta have
bones
a
were
good,
in there.
good surface area to burn the kids.
Yeah. And, because they don't close any of the windows, they need the heat.
Uh-huh.
So he stands up in this fireplace, and then this huge, lion flu comes over and just bites his head off
Yeah.
and spits it out. and that's the end of Owen,
Wilson,
of Luke.
Yeah.
Luke / Owen Wilson.
That got me sitting on the couch.
That was where I said to Carol, "This is not a comedy."
I was just giggling.
Up until this point, the only words I heard from her were things like, God damn this CGI.
It's so bad. It's
You wouldn't be so cold if you closed the fucking
fucking
window.
windows.
Oh.
And you get your typical haunted banging doors and stuff like that, but they're not satisfied with just banging doors. Doors have to split right open, and furniture has to be thrown all over the place and windows have to break and Owen Wilson needs to be decapitated.
Clap right out. You got Catherine Zeta-Jones gets bruised up pretty
gets
good.
bruised
she gets
up.
scraped up.
Every statue comes to life. Every single one.
Every
right.
single one starts turning its head and pecking at people because they're griffins or something.
Yeah, the one almost took Liam Neeson's out the game in the little pool there.
Right, because that was giant dude drowning tries to drown Liam Neeson.
Yeah.
And in the end, Nell sacrifices herself to stay with these ghost children who are being terrorized by Papa Ghost or
To free them from purgatory.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't think
why
because
were they
all,
trapped in purgatory in the first
I
place?
don't, because God sucks.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. God's like, y'all got yourselves in that situation. Get yourselves out of it.
Thanks, God.
Stupid kids. You shouldn't have been working at that mill.
Right? Let me see your work permits. Oh, you don't have any, huh? Well,
Emily, make the phone call. Make the phone call, Emily.
that's the one thing I'll grant you. I'll make this phone call. I'll set the dice up for you.
And the whole Nell
gosh.
death scene really doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
I
It
don't
would
remember
make
how
more.
she died.
She just dies.
Just lays out, huh?
She just
No,
lays down.
she goes. Well,
She fights the main Mr. King ghost,
Yeah.
Crane.
ghost, and then she just kind of.
But she gets forced against that stone relief.
Okay.
And
Hey,
that's
giving us all some relief.
Yeah. And then the little
that blood
ghost
force,
children,
and then
yeah.
she falls.
And then the ghost
that.
children come out and lay her down on the ground very gently, and then they all go up to heaven and thank you now, thank you now.
Yeah, she dips out with him too, right?
Yeah. And then she dies. And it's just like, wouldn't it be easier if you were alive?
You would think.
But-
you would think.
I don't know. And then they just go out to the gate
And stand there until daybreak, until Bruce Dern
stand
gets
until
back.
Bruce Dern shows back.
Ah, you crazy kid, you still here, huh? Jesus Christ.
And that's kind of the end of the movie. And you're just like, okay, whatever.
I cursed your name no less than 20 times.
Curse
Watching
the
this.
dice. Curse the dice.
This is why when I text you, I'm like, I need to see this list. I need to go back and re-verify it.
You looked at it. The only one I took off was True Grit.
I should have paid better attention to this list.
So this is difficult because I'm going to say I like the original more simply because there is just nothing about the remake that was good.
No. Which one are you going with there?
Oh, the original I liked better. However,
Yes.
It's the camp.
Yeah.
Like,
once we get, if I talk about the cinematography, sure, it's good. The music or the sound effects were phenomenal. The special effect in that one scene for the technology that they had at the time, very impressive. And I loved the set design in that one.
Right on.
I liked the house a whole lot better in the original than I did
Yeah.
the with the remake. It was like more.
Yeah, the remake's like Wayne Manor.
Oh, it's
And
insane.
I was just like, I don't get it. I just don't understand this house.
And I was captivated. The first hour in that one dragged.
Yeah, because
Which
there's
I
a
even
lot
told
of
you,
exposition.
It's an hour and a half, and the first hour dragged.
Yeah,
Yeah.
both movies are 114 minutes.
Yeah.
They're
yeah.
just shy of two hours.
Oh, just right, 2 hours.
Yeah.
Okay. So in the second one, the last hour dragged.
Jazz. Oh my god.
Agreed. And I'm like, all right, so we should be hitting the third act right now. Nope, there's 50 some odd minutes left in this
No,
film.
Yeah.
they got to discover that Liam Neeson's an asshole, and
Yeah, but then they don't even.
but then they don't do anything about it. It's
Right.
like
Yeah, there's like, hey, you're a dick.
There's
and
no
then they
follow-up
okay.
about.
I was thinking if you're
I
going
think
to
Owen
kill a
Wilson
character,
confronts him, and that's about it. Yeah, you kill him.
why would you not kill the professor?
Yeah.
What
Well,
did poor
sometimes
little
it just
Owen
proves
Wilson do besides go, wow.
wear those shirts. And
Yeah.
that's what he did. Sometimes you just got to prove that the bad guys get out of
And what's weird is I don't think he says that he's doing this study about people reacting to fear, and he seems to go for people that have some sort of psychic ability. But Owen Wilson doesn't seem to have any psychic ability. He seems to literally be an insomniac that needs a sleep
he's just
study.
a guy who just walks around the halls with a baseball glove.
Because he can't sleep.
'Cause he
And it's
can't
like,
sleep.
did you mistakenly actually get a sleep study person? And then have this ghost decapitated?
It's like, oh, I didn't see that
I'm
one
not
coming.
even supposed to be here.
Yes, I will have to agree with the both of you that I, unfortunately, will take the original over this particular remake.
It's just-
nominated for 5 Razzies. This remake
That doesn't surprise me.
lost all of them.
Oh, to
Somehow,
what?
yeah, I'd like
Star
to know.
Wars Episode 1.
Damn.
I'm assuming Catherine Zeta-Jones was nominated for a Razzie.
my God. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 Razzies.
Oh, my
yes,
gosh.
Catherine Zeta-Jones was nominated for Worst Actress. Zeta-Jones and Lily Taylor were nominated for Worst Screen Couple. The screenwriter for Worst Screenplay, Jan de Bont for Worst Director, and I assume these are the producers for Worst Picture.
I think the directing is really to blame for why
Which is weird.
that second
because
one
he's
is bad.
not-
I don't think that that was a bad cast. I think
I-
the directing.
yeah, the
was so
directing
bad.
is just, and the writing, I thought was just horrible.
Clearly.
Right, yeah.
I just
Because
you
Jan de
know,
Bont can
Twister.
do it.
He made Twister for
He-
crying out loud.
yeah, and I mean, that's a dumb movie about tornadoes, but it's actually entertaining. Speed is great.
Speed is dope.
frankly.
It's one of the better action movies out there. And then he did the second Lara Croft Tomb Raider movie as well. And he was not seen again in Hollywood. Townspeople ran out with pitchforks.
Maybe he's still in Hill House. The house called him back. He's just riding that room in a circle over and over
Yeah,
and
he
over.
rides that for half the day, then runs in the little library wet hallway, and then goes back over. What's going on in that house? It's just Jan de Bont.
Just leave him. Just leave
let
him.
be.
Eventually, he's going to ask for the Haunting 2 money and just
Oh,
pretend.
Yeah.
We'll just keep that red reject ink pad wet.
So if you're going to watch something based on The Haunting of Hill House,
Watch the
watch
Netflix
The Haunting of
series.
Hill House, which isn't technically based on The Haunting of Hill House,
This is still as good as it's going to
but
get.
it's better. It's far better than both these movies.
I already like it more than I like these movies.
You gotta love it because it's got Henry Thomas in it.
Okay.
He
fair
plays
enough.
oddly enough, he plays a young Timothy Hutton, and it works perfectly.
All right, I dig some Timothy Hutton. Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, they both play the same character at different ages.
Right on. Okay.
And if you do watch The Haunting of Hill House, be very careful. Watch it very carefully because Mike Flanagan has a tendency to put ghosts in a lot of scenes.
Like just hanging out in the background,
Oh, yeah.
like out the side of your peripheral, something
Yep.
like that. All right. Have you haven't gotten down on this, right?
The Haunting of
Hill House? Mm-hmm.
I couldn't tell you.
You
I
haven't-
probably have seen it, but
No, the Netflix series.
Yeah,
oh no.
No.
yeah,
Is that
I
on your
do
plans at
recommend
all?
it.
Oh no, I can't sit there and really watch a TV show.
All right. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Just doesn't
I don't
happen
have
these
the
days.
yeah no.
But yeah, you keep your eye on the corners and stuff because he puts a lot of little ghosts everywhere.
All right. Right on. I have to
And that house is most definitely haunted.
check out for that. There's no
There's no
maybes,
question.
possibles in there. All right.
No,
they
there's
lay it
no
out for
yeah.
you.
Yeah, there's no subtlety there.
Okay. All right. What possibilities do we have coming up?
Okay,
for
so do
next
you want to look
month?
at the list now?
Yeah. I kind of want to need that. I need to put
Look
some
at the list
eyeballs
now. I've
on this
removed-
list.
I've removed The Haunting.
Thank you.
It goes to 28 because I've just been removing things as
I
they
think
go
you
up.
can watch it again if you want to.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Watch what again?
The Haunting.
Are you crazy?
Let me put it back on the list.
I'll get
Just
up and
because
walk
it's
off
not
this
on the
show
list
right now.
doesn't mean you can't watch it again. Is what I'm saying.
Oh, I'll keep that in mind. Thank you. Okay. Oh, okay. Interesting. Oh, wait,
Which one are you on?
Yeah, we don't know. We can't see
rollerball.
what you're-
We might have to.
That's down below the 20. I think that's down below
Yeah, it's like
20.
24,
It's
something
like
like that.
24, so it hasn't shown up yet.
All right,
Yeah.
so we have. Carol has brought the 20-sided
20-sided dice out.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is for March.
Now, should since Mia is our guest, should we let her roll the die?
You want to roll the die?
Yeah.
You get a roll the die.
It'll be
Mia,
honor.
don't you fuck this up for us.
So what are we
I'm
going
shooting
for?
not for one because I can't stand the Rat Pack. So I would not want to sit through Ocean's 11.
As I was suffering through, because I watched the remake earlier today, and Leslie's like, for this, Carol should have to watch Ocean's 11. So give us a roll. Let's see if we get there.
5.
5. The Manchurian Candidate.
Oh, I love.
Right on. Right on. Okay.
Oh, I love the original. Angela Lansbury is a legend.
Oddly enough,
Frank
Frank
Sinatra. Thank you, Mia. Yeah, I've only seen the Denzel version. I never saw the Frank version.
Oh, Angela Lansbury.
I think you're gonna
I think
love
she
it.
actually won an Oscar for.
I think so.
I think that was her Oscar.
This-
Before she was writing
this-
murder.
Yeah, before she was murdering everybody in Cabot Cove.
That's a
The dark
rumor
twist.
that we don't talk about.
So, yeah.
That's one of like my probably top 50 movies of all time. I
Cool.
love that movie.
Really?
Yeah.
Really? Old Manchurian Candidate, huh?
Oh man, we were one away from the Poseidon Adventure. God damn it.
What was above? Was that
Above
above
it?
or was that below?
That was below. That was number 6, and number 4 was The Thing from Another World. And The Thing, I would have been
Oh yeah,
Oh,
I
man.
got to write a little review for the thing for
The
coming up for the
Carpenter?
podcast. Yeah, yeah. All
God,
right,
I
then.
love the Carpenter thing.
I agree.
Okay, so next month is the Manchurian Candidate.
Manchurian Candidate, right on. You have anything before we sign off?
No, just boo.
Oh man.
Thank you for coming on to the show.
I would like to thank you for having me on the show.
Yes,
Thank you.
yes. Hopefully, we'll get you back for another one of these somewhere down the road,
Wonderful.
if you are amenable to it.
Yes,
And
sir.
that's it. We will be back next month with some Manchurian Candidate for your ears. Until then, go watch something else.